welcome back to Universal in Survival Minecraft. And this is a brand new portal that I made. You can have a not really crazy nether roof system, but it's a pretty big grand project, so I thought I could do with its own portal. It doesn't actually look that great from place. You want to go back here and you get this sky. It's pretty happy with that. With the British flag either side and lovely text. And then this building here, I just copied from what we built last time, the main entrance, because it'll be the main entrance to the park. So I thought I'd copy it over. So here we are back at Universal. This is a portal for now, but I think I might do something at some point. Maybe later in this video, maybe finish up this entrance. But I've got a whole bit planned for this front bit that we don't see in this concept art. Oh. This is the park. Yeah, all the arrows are gone. I spent the last 7 minutes of the last video getting these arrows out there. Except these ones. I don't know what happened. I think people walked through them. It might have been me, but I feel like I would have noticed if I was doing that. So I've got spare dragon breath from when we did that, so I'll restart. Bombers are still there, but they're all deactivated now at least. And the happy gas is also still here. Yeah, this is everything we made. Pretty cool. And we're going to move on to the next area. As you can see, I've started getting materials. I thought I'd kind of skip it a bit. I'm not finished right now, but there's still a bunch of stuff. And I also changed up the sign. I've got these big, beautiful letters. No, it's going to be a nice view. I guess. You can see where the next schematic is. The next part. It's pretty chunky. So for this one, we're going to obviously do Main Street. It's kind of the only way we can go. But Main Street's still got a lot to it. So it's going to be split into two. So we're going to do side of Main Street that we can see very well in the concept art in one, which is going to be all the service buildings. There's first aid, lost and found. And there's some like souvenir shops. There's a cafe as well. And then on the other side, which is this way, which will go in the next video, will be the hotel. Which is a huge hotel. That's gonna be bigger, way bigger than all the buildings here. So that's gonna be a pretty big episode. Yeah, I just need to finish off getting materials. It's been horrible. A lot of quartz in this one. It's all Hollywood themed and lots and lots of stripping, just constant stripping. And yeah, I'm sick of it. Sick of stripping. Oh, it is pretty satisfying to watch. I think I'm just going to get on with it and just get to the main time lapse instead of blabbering on like I did last time. So let's get to it. Alright, welcome to the time lapse. But as we did last time, we're just going to spend a bit of time, 10-15 minutes, just going to watch everything I built, how I did it. I'm just going to kind of yap on about build and just other topics and stuff as well to do with the channel. But first, you can see we're building this kind of like center area as you walk through the main entrance. It's a pretty beautiful little garden with a fountain in the center. And yeah, this area was pretty hard to see on the concept art. I'm not entirely sure if all the colors are right, but a lot of this is just improvising, and it's my creation. I can do what I want. It's my vision. If that's not what you see, that's it's my rules, I guess. Trying my best. To keep it as accurate to the thing as well, but it's going to change anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's kind of just making my own theme park, but also just having a guide for it. You can see here I'm doing this mushroom stuff, so this is quite interesting because I wanted the top, like when you combine two mushroom blocks, you get this pretty nice texture. When you break them, you can see there. I wanted to get that texture. As a different shade of like the sandy yellow, and so I built the bottom layer out of it and then put another bit of it on top, as you can see, to then get that texture. And it's pretty satisfying looking as well, so you enjoy that, and I might be doing that again in the future with a lot of the other pathways. So. The main problem I'm going to have with Universal is trying to fit everything in, because it is, it's an art piece, so it's not all perfect. It's not all, supposed to be, I don't know what the word is, but all put together properly. All the dimensions are right. Like there's some areas around there that are a bit skew-if, So I do have to work with that. So there's like an ATM that's kind of quite big. I don't even know if that would be an ATM, but I thought there should be one there. And you can see that little grey box and stuff like that. It's just like, I have no idea what it is, but I'm just trying to fit in the space because some of the areas are a bit confusing to how they're supposed to work. Yeah. Here I'm putting in all the floors for each of the buildings, so you can kind of get an idea of what each one's going to be. But I'll get into them more as I start building them. There's, well, 5 buildings here. Look pretty unique. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of how most of them come out. I'm not amazing at interiors. It's not a strong suit of mine. This is really not a style I'm used to, but I'm pretty happy with how they've turned out. I prefer this area over what we did in the last one. Still happy with what we did last time. But yeah, I think this is gonna really turn out quite well. I'm really happy with it, and it is a lot better than Alton. Alton is just not as good. I mentioned this last time. I'm not really that happy with Alton, and there's parts of it I like. There's some buildings and rides and stuff that I am happy with, but there's just some areas that are just bad. They're just not. I'm a worse builder. I don't really think I really put as much care into it. I just don't have the motivation, I guess, and I do like some of the older areas. Then I don't. To be honest, I don't like Smiler that much. There's parts of it I like. I do like the Marmalizer. I think I did a really good job with that, and I do like some of the texturing. I did. It just makes it feel a bit better. Yeah. Anyway, this building here, this is a little bit inaccurate. It's probably the most inaccurate building because it's a bit shorter. Well, I guess less wide than it is. Moving on to this building, but I did have to make it shorter because it just couldn't fit with my scale. I think everything should be slightly bigger, but with the original scale I had it at, it was like the actual main street. The street of it was way too slim for how many people would realistically be on it. Obviously, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. So that building has to get shortened. Like, buildings on a diagonal are going to be like a little bit longer than they should be. There's not much I can do about that. It's like 50% bigger than what it would really be. So I just had to work around that. So this one, I'm pretty happy with this one. It's very different from a lot of the other buildings. This one, it's kind of like fancy antique kind of store. I just use it as a gift shop, and it combines with that other one, and it's a big gift shop area, like in Tower Street. I mentioned this later. How they have all those buildings that kind of combine together, so you can kind of see what I'm doing here with all the different shelves and stuff. I don't stock it. I don't put any items in there yet. I'll talk about it later. But I'll do that at some point, and as we go along, I'll go into the gift shops and add stuff from all the IPs that we do. Speaking of the IPs, obviously nothing's confirmed. Obviously, some of them are more obvious than others. Like Back to the Future ride is so obviously Back to the Future, and Jurassic World is like, yeah, that's not going to be anything else. That's Jurassic World. So obviously I'm going to do them. I'm just going to pick what is either more interesting to me and what's like the most like popular idea of what each thing is. So the first IP we're going to build technically is in this video, but one of the buildings at the back I think leads into one of the areas that we'll do in what will be episode 4. It's being episode 2 because we're going to do the hotel in the next one. But I'll talk about that building later because we've just made this little map building. I'm pretty happy with that one. It's a cute little building, and it's going to sell maps, which I'm going to do little custom maps on, make some custom map art, and have all the different areas marked on it, and then people can actually use that to go and explore. I do put a big map of the actual area at the back as well. This next building that I'm building up is supposed to look like a cinema. Because obviously this is a Hollywood style street, so they're going to have a cinema, but because it's a main street, it's not really supposed to have a cinema in it. Like, it kind of a bit weird. Like, I feel like in like the Minions land that's coming up, that would probably have something like a 4D cinema or whatever you kind of see in theme parks. decently often. I think Alton had one, might still have one, I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, this is it was a pretty fun building. It was a lot of trial and error to get this working, but yeah, and I'm pretty happy with the interior as well. Maybe my favorite interior of the group. Yeah. Not much to see about it other than that. It does fast track and photo. You can see the big sign. I've got these big fancy letters on signs I mentioned in the intro with a mod. And I'm obsessed with them now. They're so useful. But it does fast tracking photos, which it says on the other side. And I thought that'll be a pretty cool area to do. A lot of this is inspired by Tower Street in Alton, as I keep mentioning it, because you know I built that. I studied all those buildings, so I'm the kind of stuff that was in there, I'm kind of replicating here. Speaking of Alton, I do have to have a bit of a talk about Alton. Alton's kind of cancelled, in a way. It's the Alton YouTube series is pretty much done. I don't think there's going to be future videos. I just don't think I can make anything more I'm proud of. Like, these videos are so much better. I'm so much more happy with them. I don't have replay mod or flashback with the Alton series. It doesn't work. And so it just feels worse because it's just stopping and starting, and it's not very interesting for me to build either. And obviously I don't like it as much. So yeah, it's a difficult decision I had to make, but it's not done now. The project, I will go back to it. I will keep working on it, and if I can do it kind of at my own pace, I can work on whatever I want. I'm not stuck to Oblivion. I can go work on the towers or Dark Forest, and maybe David Williams World if I really want to do it. And stuff like that. I'll make it in my own time. I can do whatever I want. I don't need to document it, but it will come out. I will do a video. I'll probably do some more of those walkthroughs that I kind of was going to do and didn't. I've been trying to set one up for Haunted Hollow. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, I've kind of skipped over these last couple of buildings, so I'm just going to catch you all up. You can't see it anymore now because we're on a different time lapse, but there was a tower. There's a bit of a clock tower. It's kind of a clock tower. I haven't put a clock on it. I said it kind of looks like a giraffe, but no one believes me. And then this is a services building, which I took a lot of inspiration from the one, again, in Alton. It's got a first aid in here. You can see there's just a few different rooms. And then there's also some like mobility scooters as well, which is the kind of thing you would see in a services building. Yeah, nothing too crazy about this, the kind of thing you'd expect. And we're about to move on. Yeah, this is the Lost and Found building. It's quite a fancy looking building, so maybe not the best idea, but I also didn't know what else to do, because maybe it would be, you know, a gift shop, but it's a weird place to put a gift shop. Like, it's not the worst. It's like, let's see, it's at the corner, and it's got this tower you can go into, but I've already got the gift shop at the other end, which made more sense to me. So I thought, okay, this can be a Lost and Found, because what else did I really need? I've got services, I've got fast track. I didn't want to do food places, especially that the next building is a cafe. So what did I want to do? So I just did a Lost and Found. I was pretty happy with it. It's not the most memorable of them all, but it's, yeah. And this is the cafe. This time lapse here is a bit spotty because I didn't do very well. I was very distracted, and yeah. So you can see it kind of jumps around a little bit. But yeah, I was pretty happy with this cafe, and it's the first IP, kind of. So the IP that this is next to is this is the biggest maybe IP, probably. Well, there's some others, but is Jaws. I think this is a Jaws area, and I've seen people say that it could be a Jaws area. There's no rides, I think. I can't really see any rides. I think it's just supposed to look like the Amity Island village. And so I've just done a nice cafe based off the concept art. This has got a little boat front, and I've put the Amity Island sign in there for a bit of theming and some like anchors and stuff. I have designed a Jaws boat, so I'll probably put that in at some point as well. This is actually my favourite building I built. I was pretty pleased with it. I think it turned out really well. but there's only one area left to do this time lapse. It's gone really quick. I know this is a bit of a shorter one. I've really tried to condense the video down. I didn't really like the last one being half an hour. I feel like there was a lot of like wasted time that people didn't really care to see. And I want these to be short and like just enjoyable. Yeah, we're getting it done. This is also just a small area. This took 3 weeks. This is probably the shortest amount of time between Universal videos we'll probably get. Maybe there'll be some smaller ones later on, but yeah, I like, right as I finished the last one, I went straight into designing it, did it in like a week, then, yeah, I think I explain this later, but it took 3 weeks, like, I think it's dead on 3 weeks after, and we're going to release this on the Wednesday, so, this is the kind of lake view area, and what to call it, you can go down here and look at the lake. I'm not going to build the lake, that's probably going to be one of the last things we'll build. I said that so weirdly. But yeah, this is, I think it really brings it all together, kind of makes it more put together and like more in place. So I'm really happy with how this bit came out, but we're kind of coming to the end of the time lapse now. So yeah, I'm just gonna do the outro, I guess. I'm gonna do a little tour, and yeah, see you then. All right, we have finished the next section, I guess, of Universal Studios. Great brand, I guess. This is the first half. I'm gonna get a little sunset before it goes. Anyway, this is our first area. I can go into free cam here. We got another little fountain, like the ones that we have at the front. Yeah, it's the same kind of style. I've got an armor stand down there to cover the ugly soul sand. Yeah, be happy with this one, but nothing too crazy. And then we've got the rest of the buildings over here. Obviously, this is only half of Main Street, but I decided to do it like this because the other half is the giant hotel, which we'll do all of next episode, which is going to be a lot bigger. This one's been a bit smaller video. I tried to condense it more than the last one and talked about it. I'll just give a little tour of everything I've done, but not everything's finished yet as well. Well, you'll see with this first one. So this is the souvenir shop. It combines these two buildings into one, and it's a gift shop, souvenirs, whatever. They're everywhere, like in Tower Street in Alton, they have a bunch of buildings connected to each other, and it has every single bit of merch that you can find in the park, and it's all in one spot. And this is what this will be. Obviously, there's no merch here. I'm hopefully going to try and get some custom items onto the server that will kind of relate to all the different franchises and IPs that we're going to do. And then I'll also just do some general decorations. Like I want to add some like armor stands of some like shirts and stuff here. But I'll slowly add that as we do different IPs, because obviously we haven't done any yet. Kind of. We'll get to that. But yeah. I'm pretty happy with this place. It's nothing too crazy. My interiors aren't. I'm obviously working with limited space and stuff, but next up we've got this smaller building here. It's a map thing, so I'm actually going to sell custom maps at some point. Very much later on. I might open the park up and have people join, but that's a different discussion. But I've got these maps here. Over here is our fast track and photo building that looks like a cinema. I didn't want an actual cinema here because it's kind of weird. Again, these are probably things I've already said in the time lapse. I haven't recorded it yet, so probably tell. Yeah, pretty simple. There's two different queues. The photo one, which is a bit smaller, and then over here we have the first aid and services building. Let's get some services. They can help you out with whatever. This would be where like mobility scooters would be. And this is the first aid over here. Has different rooms, so pretty much all the same. I do actually need to add some big clocks on this tower here with armor stands, but over here we have this quite fancy building, which I've decided to do as a lost and found. I kind of just went at random for what each thing was going to be. There's not much decision making between them. Yeah, pretty simple room. Got like some waiting, and then they've got service, and then the back room would all be. Over here is my favorite building. This is a cafe and is the first thing in the park that is related to an IP, because over in this direction is what I'm guessing is a small Jaws themed area. And so and this seemed like it had like a little boat theme. Obviously it's not crazy themed to Jaws, I just made it kind of like a cafe that you'd see at the seaside. And I included the giant Amity Island sign here, which I've tried to recreate. But yeah, I've got like an anchor in here as well. But again, there's a few armor stands. I want to put an armor stand around here. That's gonna, in case it's cake. But I'm gonna do a lot of the armor stands off camera because it's very annoying to time lapse and it's not that interesting. And it's cool to find these kind of cool Easter eggs anyway. And over here is our final area. Oh, I need to put the water in there. But this is where you would look off into the giant lake. Obviously the giant lake isn't in here and this thing needs to go lower for it. I'll put a image on screen for what the lake will look like. I've tested around with it in creative. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, I quite like this board. It really makes it all kind of come together. Or grounded, I don't know. That is, the main street is, like, it feels like it's not a lot, yet it's so much. Like, it is a huge area. But this was also one of the, like, it's really just like one big building. Lots of little ones. And this one felt a lot bigger, but it also took a lot longer because of just other delays. Whereas this one, it took me 3 weeks to do it. I think it's like dead on 3 weeks after the first one this is coming out. It took me a week to design it, just under a week to get all the materials, and then the rest of the time designing it. Like I've just finished building this bit here. That's why you can see that shulker box over there. Also, if you notice, I'm going into F1 because you can't see my full screen because I got a wider monitor. I'm gonna change that for the next one, but I didn't want to change it halfway through the video. So, you might have noticed it in the previous one as well. But that will change. I just need to remember, and I know how to change it. I just didn't want to do it for the outro. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I have to say for this place. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting it. Leave a like if you do enjoy the series, and subscribe as well if you want. All YouTube stuff, blah blah blah. It does show a lot of appreciation, so thank you, and I'll see you next time.